Hello everyone, best wishes of the day from GDSC IIIT Kalyani. I'm Suryan Shoma, GDSC Lead IIIT Kalyani, and here is the closing ceremony of Winter of Code 3.0. Thank you everyone for your valuable contribution. Without your presence and contribution, the event won't be possible. So let's move ahead. Before going to announce our top 30 and the swags, let's quickly jump into the numbers that have been phenomenal throughout the event. Over 2,300 contributors have participated in the event with over 20 plus mentor organization who have provided their open source project to in which our contributor have worked. 3 month long exciting open source festival, 60 plus real world open source projects, 50 plus community partners, and we have and our event partners as well. Thank. Next up, we our beloved organizations. They are awesome projects. GDSC IIIT Kalyani would like to thank the open source organizations that were a part of the program, starting from Moja Global, Polyexon, then GDevelop, Open Code Yard, Clueless Community, Async API, DevScript, Alpha.dev, Styva.dev, Terraforce 3D, AdHub Community, Hack for Code, the Gita Initiative, Samagra X, OpenEMR, Shorto, Code Family, and all of the GDSC orgs who have provided their open source projects on which our contributor have worked over 3 months long. Moving ahead, we have our event partners. They have supported this event is of their as much as it is for GDSC IIIT Kalyani. Thanks a lot to our event partners. GDSC NIE Mysore, GDSC IIIT Sri City, GDSC IIIT Dharwad, GDSC Pune Institute of Computer Technology, GDSC IIIT Nagpur. Thank you everyone. The support in conducting such a beautiful event out every thick and thin. Moving ahead, we have our community partners starting from GDSC SRM Sonipat, GDSC ECRC Jaipur, GDSC JMI, GDSC ABESIT, GDSC SRC ASW, GDSC IIIT Bhubaneswar, GDSC GTBIT, GDSC CHARUSAT, Hack for Code, GDSC Cummins, GDSC GNDU, GDSC PP, GDSC SGS ITS, GDSC ASIET, Skill Eliters, GDSC CGU, Alpha.dev, GDSC Srinix, SEC Club, GDSC DTC, GDSC NSCC, GDSC BIT, Jaipur, GDSC BBT, GDSC GLA, Cherry Community, GDSC Amravati, GDSC SREC, GDSC CVR, GDSC SRBCE, GDSC KGEC. Thank you for raising the awareness among your college for your massive support. Moving next to our mentors, volunteers, and point of contacts. Mentors who were just amazing, like the experience that they have gave to the contributors who would be working in their organization. I am sure that they have got enough time and the experience that they have from the mentors. Then our volunteers who just during the proposal reviewing our ticket and doubt solving throughout the event, basically our team and our event partners, point of contacts who just binded our whole event and made it successful. We noticed everything and we really appreciate. Thanks a lot, guys. We have our partners. We are glad to have them on board. Let's have a look at what they have for our top contributors. Starting from our platinum sponsors, DevFolio provided platform support and logistic support for Winter of Code 3.2. Then we have Polygon, which is offering $200 for best hack build on Ethereum plus Polygon. Then they are also offering $150 for best hack build on Ethereum. Then we have GitHub as our platinum sponsor, who are offering cheat sheets for top 30 contributors. Moving ahead with our diamond sponsors, Styva.dev, which is offering premium swags to top 30 contributors. Yes, you guessed it right. Then we have Replit, who are offering $50 for winning project on Replit. Then we have Filecoin, who are offering $250 for best use of Filecoin and IPFS. Then we have our gold sponsors, Newton Schools, offering premium swags to top 10 to 15 contributors. Then we have Eco 3D, which is providing subscription to their premium platform for 1 month. Then we have Auth0, who are providing bags for top 5 contributors and tiles for top 5 to 10 contributors. So it would be like top 5 contributor would be getting bags, then then 5 to 10 the contributors who are in 5 to 10 category would be getting tiles, and the contributor who are in top 10 to 15 would be getting premium swags by Newton Schools. So that's how we have giving the rewards to our top contributors. And then we have our silver sponsors, JetBrains offering free ID for our contributors. Then there would be t-shirt and swackets to our top 30 contributors from GDSC IIIT Kalyani from our side. Yeah. Before moving ahead towards the result and our top 30 contributors, I would like to invite a message from Striva for Winter of Code 3.0 contributors. I would like to invite them.
Hello everyone, I'm Chaitanya. I'm working as a developer relations engineer at Steva. Steva is a community driven organization that connects developers with developer programs of tech companies. So, for tech companies, we evangelize developer products like cloud platform, database, and so on. And for developers, we provide skills for free. In our organization, we highly promote open source culture. And in the past, we have organized events like OSS Day, and this year we have partnered with Winter of Code 3.0. On behalf of Steva, I would like to congratulate everyone for participating in Winter of Code 3.0 and making it a great success. Now today I have with us Mr. Pradeep Parapil. He is the founder of Steva and has more than 20 years of experience in IT industry. He will be giving us a brief about Steva and will be sharing some tips like what do companies look for while hiring. So without ado, let's get started. Hello Pradeep, welcome to the video for the introduction about Steva. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, thanks a lot, Chaitanya. It's very good, of course, to connect again. So my name is Pradeep. I'm one of the co-founders of Styava. And Chaitanya and myself, we are colleagues. We work on the same team. So what we are doing, I'll talk a little bit about myself, and probably then we go over to Styava. Is I I founded Styava about 2.5 years back. Prior to that, I used to work for Microsoft, spent more than 16 odd years working for uh, different teams, mainly around two areas essentially. One is in Windows and one is in Azure. I worked entirely during this time for the engineering team, but did many different roles in product planning, in partner engineering, a whole bunch of different things. The last role I did was with a team which owned the developer platform on Windows. When I left, I thought there's an opportunity to help technology companies bring their great technology to developers, and at the same time, developers also would like to discover and learn about new things. And that is really what we are trying to do here at Styava, to kind of connect these two parts of the ecosystem, which are vital to bringing new innovation. So that's a quick intro about myself, Chaitanya, and also about Styava.
What inspired you to start your own startup?
Oh yeah. So I'm sure that everybody who's built. So before maybe I should start with that. Before I joined Microsoft, I used to work for a small startup. Small in the sense it was a relatively small in terms of the size compared to Microsoft, but it was a extremely I would say, tech-oriented startup doing a lot of great innovation in the space of virtualization. It was based in San Francisco, but it had engineering centers elsewhere as well. Um, During that time, I really realized that how even a small company can fundamentally create something which is innovative, new, and market defining. Of course, I chose to join a bigger company, Microsoft, after that startup. But that desire to do something which was on my own and which kind of created something new was always there. It just that, I ended up enjoying my time at Microsoft, the teams, the people, and I continued. But at some point, I realized that, hey, this is a time for me to probably look at something different. And that is when I kind of started looking at how can I take some of the learning and some of the opportunities which I identified and bring it into a company which I wanted to create. And that is how I decided to start, and that is how Stava came into being.
Good. So, being in Microsoft for almost like 2 decades, what challenges do you think developers face these days?
Yeah, I mean, see, one of the challenges always has been if you're a developer and you continue to want to be at the cutting edge, you have to constantly learn, which is, I would not say it's a challenge, but it is I would say, desired attribute if you want to be a good developer, right? What is happening now is that the pace of that change has accelerated, right? Whereas, earlier you would say, hey, I am an ex-developer, and you probably work on that technology for a few years before you transition. Today, what is happening is that there are so many new things, so much innovation happening, and they're all converging into different things, right? So, for example, um, AI and generative AI is the hot new word, right? I mean, think of it. GPT has been there for the last few years, but it's only when ChatGPT came and people started exploring it as users, then suddenly you realize this whole, opportunity which lies ahead. And one of my friends recently had a very, very interesting comment. Where he had put it on Facebook saying, hey, a lot of people ask me which programming language should I learn, and he was kind of making this very interesting statement that probably the most important programming language of the future is English, right? If you're able to describe the problem well enough, probably the code is generated for you. So what I would say is we live in a world where as a developer, you need to wear many hats, right? Gone are the days when you say, hey, I am a database developer, I am a UI developer, I'm a backend developer. People expect developers to have the integrated view, and then also the other big thing is this whole new transformation into the cloud, right? Which itself brings into picture a whole new set of capabilities, services, all of which, at least, even if you're not like an expert in, at least you need to be aware of, right? If you want to do authentication, hey, what are the options I have, right? How do I integrate them into my solution? If I want to deploy infrastructure, what are the ways in which I can deploy it automatically? So the thing is, as a developer now, that requirement in terms of knowledge, I would say, is definitely much more, and the pace of change is accelerated.
Okay. So, how can they overcome these challenges?
I think one of the biggest things which I think everybody which kind of works, I feel, and has worked forever if you're a developer is um, try it out, right? Because you may not be wanting to use Kubernetes, but the very fact that you had a chance and an opportunity, or even a place where you could go out, set up something, and use it, means that, hey, I'm not using it in my day-to-day job. I'm not, but it kind of opens up new insight about, hey, how does this work, right? So if you are a developer and you want to learn about all these things, as much as possible, try to read, of course, which is a great thing, but even better, try to use it, right? If it's not there in your job, if it's not there in your course curriculum as a student, um, there are enough and more places where these things are available for free to try out. And the moment you try it out, it fundamentally alters your understanding of something, right? It's very different from reading, it's very different from hearing about it. It's very different from talking about it, but the moment you try it, you at least move one step further, and that sets you on the path for becoming an expert. So I would say, look at the things which are important, and if you think is something which you are interested in, then the next important step for you is to try it out. That moves you or accelerates your journey as far as the learning goes.
So, since you are an entrepreneur, what is the most important skill that you look for a developer while hiring?
Correct. So, I think, I don't know who said this, but I don't remember. But there was this thing. What I really look for in a person, and it's not just at Java, but even in past roles whether it's at Microsoft or elsewhere, is learnability, right? Do you have the ability to learn things? And, this goes from a view which I have is like, I'm not looking for somebody who's like a know-it-all, right? I know everything. But I would really want somebody who says, hey, I'm a learn-it-all, like I can learn everything, right? And that is a skill which is really important for a developer from my perspective. Do you know Java? Do you know React? Do you know Node? These can give you an immediate short-term bump in productivity, but tomorrow if we decide to change the framework we use and the person is not able to transition or learn fast enough, that becomes a problem. So for us, what is really important is, even as people we hire ourselves, is how do we get people who can learn different things, right? That gives us the ability also to be flexible on things like the technology choices we make, etc. And it's not bound by, hey, I have three people who know this, so this is the technology I use. So, and if you are a developer, you don't want to be in a situation where you say, hey, this is the product I want to build, but this is the only technology I know, so I'm going to force fit this into the solution, right? So you want to be able to have people who can learn things. So that, I think, is the most important skill for a developer.
Nice. So, learning at a fast pace or learning at a slow pace, but kind of like a depth learning.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is actually a very, very good point you brought, Chaitanya. Um, when we were shipping, I think it was Windows 7, I remember, or Windows 8. The wallpaper on the pre-release bits, which were distributed inside the CoreOS division, or the COSD as it was called, it always used to have this wallpaper which says "Pride in Workmanship." Right? It says, "Hey, you should be a engineer who takes great pride in the product you build," right? And that comes with in-depth knowledge of what you're doing, right? So from that perspective, what you just mentioned is very, so some things you don't need to know in depth, but if it's a tool you're using every day, if it's a language you're using every day, learn about it more. And I'm not saying you need to know it on day zero again, right? Learn about it, become an expert, because it will make your life easy. You will enjoy your job. Otherwise, every day will be a challenge, right? So that's another good point you brought, Chetan.
Okay. So, what advice would you like to give to someone who is right now in first year of his college, or I mean, just starting out? What skills they should learn? How should they uh, build their college life in terms of building like skills? How should they basically how should they mold their college life?
See, I can facet it into two parts, really, right? Like, or we can talk about it in two parts. See, one is, if you are in a computer science course or a technical course, one of the most important things you can do, since you have the luxury of time, of course, with you have a lot of things to study, is to explore new technologies. And we are living in the age of AI, right? Uh, so to have that foundational knowledge of how some of these things are working are going to be very important, because see, these there are certain things in computer science which really haven't changed, right? Like algorithms have remained same, similar for certain problem spaces. But what has changed is that the problem spaces have been added new, right? And correspondingly solution. So spending time to see, hey, these are the things, learning about it, trying these things are really important from a college perspective, right? Because you can try different things. You probably have teachers who are good. You have seniors who can guide you. In a job, sometimes what happens is you probably may be so involved in doing the day-to-day things that the luxury of open exploration is not there. You can still do it in your free time, but you still don't have. So this is a time when you can really see that, hey, I have broad knowledge and depth knowledge about certain things, right? Broad knowledge about certain things, depth knowledge about certain things, especially about computer science fundamentals. It's really, really important, right? Now, what is also important is that, this is really important, but also it's the time to build a good network, right? Because connecting with colleague, with your classmates, building those relations, those are also very important. Because if I look at myself, there are a lot of connections, relations, etc., which I have had from school, from college. Those are the things which have also helped me on many occasions in life, right? Whether it's work related, personal, professional, it doesn't matter. So use this time also. I mean, it's not like, hey, I'm in a race and I just have to keep doing this day and night. Use this time also to build those relations, nurture those relations, because these are the same people who probably you may work with tomorrow to start a company, who may be your referral for a new job, right? Or if you start something, they may be the one who give you some business. So all of those things are really important, along with learning all these things.
Uh, okay, so for developers, how important is it to getting involved in developer communities and participate in developer events? So how important do you think it is these days?
I think it is really, really important, right? I mean, gone are the days where people are saying, hey, this is my resume, take a look at it and all that, right? Increasingly, people are saying, hey, I am on these communities. This is the work I have done publicly on GitHub, for example. These are the products I've built, if it's a product. So one is in terms of building that personal brand, it is really important. Second is being a part of a developer community, attending these events gives you access to state of the art knowledge, and sometimes even things like the ability to try out things for free, etc., at no cost to you, right? Think of it like, hey, you graduated from college, but here is somebody who's giving you a 1 hour session about some topic which is otherwise you have to look through what is the right place to go and study, look for the links to, and of course you can do that on your own. Not everything is available as an event, but if somebody is willing to do this for you, why not, right? Go ahead, spend that 1 hour, invest that 1 hour of your time in your personal and professional growth. Second is in terms of developer community, it's really important to be part and also to contribute. It is really important that hey, if somebody's asking for help, share your time if you have it, right? Because sometimes you are also stuck, and being a developer, you realize many times that you're probably banging at a problem for a long time, and then somebody comes and gives you a simple solution and you realize, hey, this thing was right in front of me, but all it needed was somebody to look at it from a different perspective, right? This can happen in your work, or it can. So helping those people who need some assistance is something which is going to benefit you, and tomorrow you may also be the beneficiary of that help, right? So both ways. So, and the last thing is you get connected with people, right? These community, if you're doing well, you're helping the community, it's not that people are not recognizing it, right? Sometimes you get professional recognition, right? Like, for example, Microsoft has the MVP program, and I'm sure Google has its own dev experts or something like that, and Amazon has a similar program as well. And it's true of most technology companies, right? If you are a leader in the community, they will recognize you for the, and these are things which a potential employer is will recognize, right? So do spend the time. It's an opportunity to learn. It is an opportunity to help others. It is an opportunity to learn from others. So take all of these things and do. I would say if you're a professional developer, if you're an aspiring professional developer, being a part of these communities is essential to short-term and long-term growth.
Yeah, networking is really important. Like someone said, network is your net worth. So
Exactly,
this,
exactly. That's really true.
yeah, yeah. So since many of the students will be watching this and developers, so what kind of events do we organize at Stava?
So we do a host of events, but it's mostly right now centered on technical topics. We have done a couple which are focused on skills like Excel and PowerPoint, but otherwise it's mostly we do three or four different types of events. One, these are events which are focused on learning, right? So we talk about a technical topic. You can come, you can attend, you can ask questions, and of course, you have the opportunity to be part of a broader community where you can connect with other people and ask questions as well. The second set of events which we work on are more certification driven, right? So if you have a certain certification in mind, it's typically a multi-day session where you can come. You have a certified trainer typically who comes and talks about the topic. And of course, we also have again the Discord channel and in some countries a WhatsApp group where you can come and even ask questions and look for certain reference materials and so on. So that is the second type, right? The third type of events we do are the ones where you have the opportunity to take part in challenges, right? Challenges would mean that, hey, I know about a topic or I want to learn and try myself out on these topics, right? So we do these kind of challenges as well. These are again typically spread out a month, and you can take part in that. And the last type is more of a multi-event kind of session on a particular topic. Like so, recently we did the OSS Day on Azure, which is like you have multiple speakers talking about different um, topics related to open source. In this case, on Azure, and that's what we kind of do there. So we have three or four different types of sessions which we do, and of course. These events are all absolutely free of cost for developers. It's something which we work on. Sometimes we have sponsors for these, but the goal here is to make sure that developers get access to really best in class speakers who can talk about a topic in a very knowledgeable fashion.
Cool. So how do you ensure that the community is inclusive and diverse? Because it's really important these days to have an inclusive and diverse community.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have been partnering with certain organizations, like for example, there is a program, for example, run by Microsoft called Code Without Barriers. This is really focused on how we can help women developers. So that is one way. The second way in which we have been trying to do more is to make sure that our outreach efforts are something which we kind of make sure that we kind of are able to get a more diverse and inclusive audience from the targets which we are trying to look at. And the third thing is, we also would like to talk about certain topics which reflect this, right? Whether it is in the form of, say, responsible AI, for example, that, hey, how do you make sure that when you're building technology, you make it in such a way that it's inclusive and diverse, and some of the biases which we as humans have don't enter these machines. So we do it along different lines, and we will continue to look for better ways on how we can do more on this.
Since you mentioned about AI and there's a buzz around AI, like AI will be taking over the jobs. So what do you think, like there will be the jobs that will be demanding in the upcoming years?
Yeah, I mean, see, there are certain things. I would say AI taking over jobs. I'm not sure if it's the right way to think of it, but I would say AI may give you time to do certain things which otherwise were essentially could have been done by a machine, right? So it's like, I mean, I will put it like this, that it's probably when the washing machine came, a lot of people thought, oh, you know what, the job of the person doing the laundry is gone away. right? But then you're probably so many years later, and you're like, hey, it's an essential thing because it saves me time on for something every day. But it doesn't mean that my job is gone, but I have time to do something different, right? So the human mind and the human inventiveness is not going to go away, right? So if you have time to do something else, probably you end up creating something different. AI is, of course, a very key, I would say, at a key inflection point, right? I mean, funnily and strangely, and I was recently in some meeting. I started in fact, my engineering project was around NLP, where we built a machine translation system. And at that time, it was very, very primitive, right? But from there to today, where you can use Google Translate, for example, on most content, or even if you look at the way GPT is able to summarize some content, and you're not able to figure out whether it's a human who's written it or a machine, we have come a long way, right? So I would say that it also means that there are so many opportunities as well as challenges, right? On one side, it brings forth a whole new set of opportunities for developers, programmers like us, to kind of build new platforms and new systems. But also you have to make sure that there are certain safeguards and guardrails, so that people who may be misled by certain things, etc., are properly safeguarded, right? So opportunity wise, yes, I think AI is the defining uh, technology, or the defining area currently. And probably the pace of innovation is only going to become faster. So I mean, if you look at GPT itself, from where it was to GPT-4, it's gone uh, so much ahead in terms of its capability, and as it goes forward, it's going to be even more. So yeah, this is the era where this AI is going to really change things, hopefully, mostly for the positive, as long as we have the right guardrails and things like that. So yeah, that's really where I think people should spend at least some of their time, if not really all their time, but it's something which you should focus on, I would say.
Cool. So, any closing message you would like to give to our audience? Any parting words?
Yeah, I mean, Java is really building out a community for developers around the world, and our fundamental goal is really to make sure that you can learn about new things, you can try new things, you can grow professionally by finding new jobs, by identifying opportunities, and the third thing is you can network with other people, right? So you connect with people, you engage with them. So the idea for us is to really make sure that we build this platform, which is a community for developers to come, to learn, to grow, and of course meet other people, right? And I'd really urge you to come join us on this journey. We would love to have you, and of course, we, as in case of any entity or startup, we are also learning. So if you have any feedback, if you have ideas where we should be doing something differently, we would love to hear from you.
Thank you, Pradeep. Thank you for your taking your time to guiding us, and we are looking forward for more such kind of interactions.
Thanks a lot, Chaitanya. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me as well. I really enjoyed your questions, so thanks for that.
Thank you for your kind words. It was nice from your side for all of the support that we got from your end. Moving ahead, how we have evaluated the results. We have considered midterm evaluation from the respective mentors. Then we have considered the end evaluation from respective mentors. Then there are mentor feedbacks for individual contributors from their mentors. Then the quality of the report that you have submitted through Devfolio, we have considered it as well. Quality of pull request that you have submitted, yes, we have gone through every pull request that you have submitted through the report. Then difficulty of the project and tech stack use. We don't want to bias there is a very easy project where you put 4 5 years and there is no one like us a project over one contributor have given 2 years, so we have to be more precise over it. So we took care of it as well. No, there will be there won't be any change in the result that we have estimated. Don't worry, there is no partiality that have been done. Decision are final and binding. Contributors can mail us to us or mentors for their feedback. We would love to have it, and and we want to improve our event as much as we can. Now the time is here for everyone is waiting. Here are our top five. Starting from Sakshi Shah from Clueless Community, then Akash Srivastav from Clueless Community as well, then Bhavila Hoja from Alpha Dot Dev, then Aragya Mehta, who have worked under GDSC for CSGO Professional Project, then Savio Das, who have worked with Async API. Then the next five are Chandresh Kumar from the Gita Initiative, Om Gujarati worked under Open Code Yard, Harshit Raj worked under DevScript, Chinmay Shekhar Chaudhary worked with the Clueless community, then Rohan Kumar Singh worked with Samagra X. Next is Mehul Kumar, worked with GDSC under Health Tracker app. Then Sharadish Ghosh from Sholto. Nidish worked with Code Family. Arnab Chatterjee worked with Gita Initiative. Mohammad Shariq worked with DevScript. Now the rest of 15 contributors are Tanmay Jain, Digana Kumar Banik, Vedant Mahajan, Ayush Singh, Souvik Dev, Shubhadeep Karmakar from Styva.dev, Niranjan Khurade from Shorto, Parmeet Singh, Sachin Dhapkara, Kartik Patel from Gita Initiative, Chirag Pradeep Lalwani, Manav Lohia, Shivang Mishra, Anisha Shinde, Dravid Dilip Kumar Vaishnav, who have worked for GDSC. So here are our all of the top contributors who made it and made it in top 30. There would be a mail which will be circulated to our top 30 contributors. You have to fill it before 26th before 26th noon, so that we can ship your swags as soon as possible. So please make sure every contributor who have participated in the event would be getting participation certificates. They would be getting by their mail. So make sure you check it out. The mail is around the corner between 1 or 2 days. So just wait before it. And thank you everyone. That's all about Winter of Code 3.0. Yeah. Thanks for all of your support and presence throughout the event. Um, let's meet again for Winter of Code 4.0. Let's make that event as big as Winter of Code 3.0. Thank you everyone.